Okay, so I just wanted to make a quick video because there's a bit of drama and stuff like that. I was remembering, because I keep going back on it. I keep trying to place the blame on myself for everything that happened in the past. Like, not just the actual legitimate actions of myself, but other people and what they ingrained in my brain. So I remember the one time my mom, my grandfather had passed away, my step grandpa, and she had stood there and asked my little brother and I, she said, "Do you miss grandpa? Your grandpa?" And then Mark and I kind of looked at each other. We paused because it was just a random question. And then before we could answer, she's like, "Of course you do, because he used to drive you guys to school all the time." And I was just like, "Well, yeah, he did. We do miss him, right?" And then another thing that came to my mind that I actually ended up taking on myself is I used to say sorry when I was sorry, and I meant it. And my stepdad used to always tell me that I didn't mean it at all. Okay? So listen to that. When I said I was sorry, he would say, "No, you're not." Legit. He would say, "No, you're not." And then I remember catching myself one time when I used to work in a factory. There were these people that were, I don't know, they were just joking around or whatever, and they were teasing me and shit like that. And I think something happened, and the one person was like, "I'm sorry," right? It didn't sound genuine to me to begin with, but I was like, "No, you're not." Now, whether or not a person is, that's not up for you to decide. And the fact that I caught myself repeating something that my stepdad said is really caught me off guard, because then later on they were like, "What the fuck?" Right? And then I was even thinking like, "What the fuck? Why? Why would I say that?" But this is not the first time that's happened in my life. When I was younger, when I was a kid, it's almost like words were being put in my mouth, or decisions were being made on how I felt. So if I said, "Oh, I feel a certain way about something," they would tell me that, "No, you don't feel like that. Actually, you feel like this." So it's almost like what's that word? It's dismissing how a person actually feels, and then trying to tell them how you believe they feel. Or when a lot of people say, "Oh, this person," what would it be? "Oh, this person feels like this," or "This person feels like that." Well, you can't say how a person feels legitimately. Even if you have all the evidence and everything like that, you can't say how a person actually feels unless they, from their mouth, tell you themselves. Or "This person thinks," or "This person thinks this and thinks that." Well, you can't actually say what a person truly thinks about a certain thing unless they say it from their mouth. So it's really easy for us to get caught up. I know I'm not the only person that's done this. I've done it in the past. I know better than to do that shit. And there has been a circumstance recently where somebody was apologizing to me, and it was legitimately not, um, it was not a genuine apology. Um, and I said, "No, you're not." And it just reminded me, it brought me back to that whole situation, and different like flashes of when I was told how I think, how I feel, shit like that. And I thought it was really important to mention this because this is something that's prevalent in a lot of people's life, and I don't even think they realize that they do it. If they do it to other people, telling people how they think or how they feel or anything like that, it's easy to assume certain things. But when it comes down to it, unless it's coming from a person's mouth, yes, they could still lie. They could still say, "Oh, well, I feel like this," or "I think this," or something like that. They could be lying, but regardless, it doesn't matter. It's not up to us to decide how a person thinks or feels. And ultimately, when it comes down to the truth, that always comes out anyways. It's not something to worry about. If you are not being genuine about something, it will come out. And I thought this was really important to mention this because it happens a lot, more than we like to admit, I would say, maybe. And I don't think too many people point this out when it comes down to it. I don't think a lot of people point this out. And it's very important to remember. Growing up, sometimes we have old programming or old things that people project onto us to carry. There was times I felt guilty for shit that I wasn't even responsible for. There was times I felt guilty for certain things that went down that really I shouldn't be holding myself accountable for, especially as a child. So anyways, I just thought that was important.